Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the English Education Department. The English Education Department is one of the departments at the Tarbiyah and Teacher Training Faculty at the Sunan Gunung Jati State Islamic University, Bandung. The Department of English Education was founded in 1993. As one of many English departments in West Java, UIN Bandung English Education strives to build a reputation as the best professional English teaching institution. This is achieved through teaching strategies developed to link knowledge, skills, and attitudes. As a result, the students gain soft skills, personal skills, and academic skills to succeed in their course and beyond. Courses are given by the department to reflect the institution's mission to equip students with social science knowledge, such as in religious subjects. So far, English Education Department has employed many English lecturers holding a doctorate and master's degrees and have a passion for imparting their knowledge given students with a professional and responsible manner. The English Education Department has a vision to become a superior and competitive study program in producing professional education with noble characters at the national level in 2023.
Welcome to the English Education Department, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, UIN Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung. English Education Department was firstly established as a department in 1997. It has developed very fast in terms of quality and quantity since its first establishment.
Meanwhile, the mission of the English Education Department are to organize a professional, accountable, and competitive education and teaching training at the national level, to improve the quality of educators to be superior, competitive, able to contribute to national development and with noble characters, to produce qualified and innovative research and to provide services relevant to the needs of the world of education and society, as well as the information technology era, to develop cooperation with local and international teaching institutions in order to organize and develop English language learning. PBI provides sufficient learning facilities and infrastructure for students to help them learn better. Some of these facilities include a language laboratory, micro-teaching rooms, comfortable classrooms, and psychological services for students. One thing that makes PBI different is the international teaching practicum held in the neighboring country, namely Thailand. Operating since 2017 until the present day, the program immerses students in real-life teaching environments while experiencing the thrills and challenges of living in a different language, culture, and society. Apart from that, English Education Department also has a field trip program to Singapore and Bali, where students can experience English in a native environment and gain an understanding of English in daily use. The English Education Department has produced outstanding graduates, and many alumni have won opportunities for further study at prestigious overseas universities in America, Australia, Germany, Russia, and other countries. The department aims to give all students equal opportunity to develop their abilities so that they can give their best contribution to our society's future.
Hi everyone, SAID, or Student Association of English Education Department, is one of inter-campus organization or communities in the Tarbiyah and Teacher Training Faculty of State Islamic University of Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung. Besides, we constantly assist and grow together with the department to strengthen each other's vision and mission. We are highly committed to provide student activities that can channel their interests and talents. For example, the biggest event we have is ASNC, or Annual SAID National Competition, where all participants can show their English ability. On the top of that, right now, we have been moving to put forward innovations, like we have Basic English Academy, Mobile Legends SAID Championship, SAID World Scholarship, and SAID Future Leaders. Finally, SAID is always a home for PBI students. SAID, let's all work, be one with SAID.
English Education Department provides facilities and gives freedom to each student to continuously develop soft skills for themselves. Students may choose to do this through student association organization called SAID, Student Association of English Education Department. One of the most prestigious events at the national level is the ASMC, Annual SAID National Competition, event which is held annually by SAID. Students can choose from so many high-quality SAID internal events that can improve the skills of its members.
Opening the horizon. Behind beautiful mountain of the Sudanese land, there stand, with a full of pride, an Islamic university where national future leaders are nurtured, promoting values of knowledge-based religious revelation, framed with noble characteristic university vision. The State Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung, UIN Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung for short, is a place where civilized, competitive, and excellent intellectuals are given wide room to grow. Located at Eastern Bandung, established since 1968, State Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung has gained some national and international reputation. The university with Grade A institutional accreditation. the top one university among state Islamic university across the country, belonging to the best 100 university in Asia by radiometric version in 2020, winning the Indonesian Science and Technology Index Sinta Award as the most productive university in recent publication. The best university in managing state Sharia security letter from Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Religious Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, breaking Indonesian Museum record for celebrating greatest professor inauguration within religious university in Indonesia and Indonesia religious higher learning. The first university with the biggest number of intellectual property rights in the country. Coming from overseas and different parts of the country, students of State Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung actively study in 9 faculty with 61 study program and department. Faculty of Usulin Theology, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Education, Faculty of Adab and Humanity, Faculty of Dakwah and Communication, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Faculty of Islamic Economics and Business, Faculty of Psychology, Faculty of Sharia and Law, Faculty of Science and Technology, a program for magister and doctoral students. Moving to a world-class university, State Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung is supported by sophisticated representative facilities and learning infrastructure. Student Islamic Boarding School, Ma'had Al-Jami'ah, Language Development Center, House of Religious Moderation, Grade A University Library Accreditation by the National Library, where the smart library system is operating. Living lessons are written in millions ways and meaning. Developing student interest and talent are created at several unit activities. Sport club, arts units, martial arts club, spiritual circle, discussion group, a unit for specific needs. State Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung never stop innovating, keep cooperating, and building partnership with various parties from national and global institutions in the academic and non-academic field. Developing civilized society, making real contributions through social and religious programs, and guiding people life and unity, a sustainable community service provided by State Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung. Here we are, boys and girls, who persistently contribute to the country. Here we are, excellent Islamic generation who will safeguard the future of Indonesia.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after we have the parallel session, now we are going to have the
here. All of them are knowledgeable and expert in the topic that we are going to discuss. On my left, we have Dr. Sajidin SSMPD, and beside him is Mr. Fakri Hamdani, MRes PhD. And Mr. Mumu, Dr. Andes Mumu Abdurrahman MPD, as the third presenter, will have his pre-recorded presentation. Okay, each presenter will have a presentation for 15 minutes, and after all speakers have presented their presentation, then we will have a question and answer session. Before we listen to the first speaker, I would like to read the short biography of Mr. Sajidin. Okay, Mr. Sajidin is a senior lecturer of English Education Department of UIN Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung. He served as a secretary of Department of English Education. His teaching and research interest is systemic functional grammar, TFL methodology, teacher professional development, and ELT curriculum. He earned his doctorate in language education from Universitas Negeri Semarang. To develop his expertise, he has extended several international conferences and seminars in English language teaching and education in general. Several awards have been received from Ministry of National Education, Ministry of Religious Affairs, and Ohio State University. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Sajidin. Okay. Dr. Sajidin,
Thank you
the
so
time is
much,
yours.
Ms. Dini, who has given me a space to talk in front of everyone here. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mu'alah. The topic that I'm going to deliver in this space or this forum is about critical thinking. This is a theme or topic which is already recognized among the educators, among the policymakers, among the people who have a concern on education. Therefore, it attracts me to analyze about this kind of skills, critical thinking skills, in which people are trying of critical thinking skill. Everyone, when we are talking about critical thinking, it means we are talking about how people evaluate, analyze, or judge opinions or insights or statements and bring with his own ideas and deliver or lead and use this kind of skill for making his life better. So I would like to highlight the making his life better, meaning that when people are trained to be critical thinking, everyone, it means that that kind of person is trying to develop his life better, because critical thinking will help people achieve their better lives, their better life. Critical thinking may cover any kind of specific skill or sub-skill, for example, analyzing, yeah, and then reasoning, yeah, evaluating, problem solving, and decision making. So two kinds of sub-skill, for example, analyzing and evaluating, yeah, actually they are correlated with higher order thinking. So sometimes, everyone, when we are talking about critical thinking, we also talk about higher order thinking skills, which is called HOTS. And this is a big issue in our education, in which every single teacher have to develop this kind of skill among the learners, not only EFL learner, but also other EFL learners. It could be mathematics students, biology students, and other subject of field. So higher order thinking skill are interchanged with critical thinking skill or CT skill. That's the core of critical thinking. It is an art, it is an activity, it is a competence of thinking, to analyze, to evaluate, to synthesize, and in the end there will be a kind of results of their thinking skill activity. There is his personal opinion and his competence, which is important for his life, yeah, and for his academic life in specific. Well, everyone, as I already mentioned in the beginning, that why we have to know, why we have to have a great concern on these skills, because everyone, the first thing that I already mentioned, it can help people live better. So in the context of a language teaching, this kind of skill might equip students with the ability to learn better, how to achieve their learning result or learning competence. So why we are consider that this kind of skill is important, and why many people have a great concern on investigating or in developing those kind of skills. So if I make it more specific elaborations, so critical thinking may help to improve decision making, everyone. Yeah. So he can decide which one is important, which is not important, which one is facts, which is one is opinion. And we can also analyze in this kind of information era that which one is hoax, which one is fact, and so on and so forth. The second one, everyone, that critical thinking skill also may enhance problem solving ability. So people with good critical thinking may easily identify the problem and solve the problem. So they may be more effective people, because he has a tools, a skill to to analyze and then identify and then to decide the problem, and then in the end he can solve problems. So this kind of skill is not only important in academic life, but also in learning English or during learning English. Okay, and then another important aspect of critical thinking skill, everyone, is you can refine your research skill. Yeah, refine means select. And then to some extent, critical thinking, everyone, might polish your creativity. So people with critical thinking skill might be easy to create something. Because he can, he can analyze which one is important and not important, which one is substance or just something which is not important, and so on and so forth. So it might create, it may help people to create something. In other words, it may develop creativity. And of course, critical thinking may also stimulate curiosity. It may generate people to be more curious when we have critical thinking skill. In an Islamic perspective, actually, more verses, a lot of verses encourage or even challenge us to be critical thinking. So for Muslim people, you have to be critically things of something. So there are a lot of verses saying in English, in Arabic, afala ta'qilun, afala tadabbarun, and a lot of questions which challenge us to be more critical thinking. Yeah, it might be a slight difference between critical thinking in perspective of Islam and others, or general, because a Muslim critical thinking is developed to know his God, or to be aware of the existence of Allah, for example. Okay, that's why critical thinking is very important. And some researchers develop and investigate this kind of critical thinking skill. Well, then we focus on the strategy, how people develop critical thinking strategy. There are a dozen of lists of strategy, but we focus on several. And in this point, we may look at 50 critical thinking strategy, for example. But when we classify into more general categories, it might come into at least 4 categories. For example, number 1 is discussion. Discussion here cover the activity of collaboration with others, and dialogue or debating is part of discussion, or for example, responding to the other opinions. So discussion could be one of the category that we try to refine from 1,000 of strategy. Yeah? Even so, we have discussion and then self-learning. So the first one is discussion and then self-learning. Within self-learning, there are a lot of activity that you may find in this 50 critical thinking strategy. For example, responding to the questions, or writing some response to the writing project here that might be, it is a kind of reader response, for example, analyzing questions provided by the teachers or lecturers, everyone, or some other activity that may be done individually by students. So there is a lot of range of a strategy. The first one, decision making. So we categorize into decision making and self-learning, and then one more is so we have got decision making, self-learning, and then one more strategy that might be very popular, everyone. let me think about it. So we have okay, decision making and then self-learning. So okay, let's talk another skill that might be categorized here. But the idea is there are a lot of critical thinking strategy, everyone, and two of them are discussions and then self-learning. So there also may other categories that might be dealt for later on. Everyone, let's talk about the why we have to be to deal with this kind of skill, because it is really important for the future life. So we already know that 4 of the skills that are needed by the people today is communication skills, and the critical thinking skill, creativity, and collaboration skill. So a critical thinking skill is one of the skill which is badly needed by today people, or by alpha generation, including millennial student today, because so it is part of our concern on developing this skill. So what we are going to do here, everyone, here in my presentation is talking about reviewing some existing journal that discuss a critical thinking skill which is integrated or incorporated in English language teaching at the level of university student or tertiary level of education. So when I'm doing systematic review, so I try to develop some keywords. Yeah. So we use several journals that are relevant to this kind of critical thinking search. For example, Abelard, Science Directs, yeah? Taylor and Francis, Wiley Online, Jesters, Google Scholar, and Manual Research. Yeah? So I try to develop some keywords to find some relevant article to be reviewed. So all in all, there are 3,872 articles that are considered relevant, in the sense that machine can retrieve this kind of skills. Yeah. So they are taken from or retrieved from Emerald and some other reference. And then what I did later, after I got this kind of article, which more than with the number 3,878, and then it is removed, yeah, because there are a lot of similar same topics, so even the same authors. So we use Jotero, everyone, to identify duplicates among the articles. So there are, so the rest of the article after duplicate removal is 3,122. The following, I try to screen the article based on the title, so it becomes 315. And then again, I try to reduce. I try to go a deeper analysis by looking the abstract, and there are only 62 article left, which are relevant to the topics. And then at last there is only 29 article which is really relevant after I analyze eligibility of the article, in the sense that whether the article, after reading the full text, is complete or not, whether the discussion is clear or obviously stated, or whether the conclusion is there or not, for example. So the rest of the article that I analyze is 29. Everyone, this is what we call systematic review. Systematic review is a research that tries to review the existing articles, focusing on specific topics. So using some keyword, critical thinking, or CTS, or higher order thinking skill, or HOT, English teaching language, ELT, English language learning, and so on and so forth. So this is a keyword using Boolean searching, and then we got a lot of articles, which more than 3,000 then. And then we also use manual searching, because sometimes everyone, when we use systematic searching using machine searching, so it cannot cover specifically. So I also make manual searching by using specific keyword, critical thinking skill, and the EFL learners, critical thinking skill, and the ELT, higher order thinking skill, and the EFL learner, and so on and so forth. Now, because we are approaching to the end of the session and we have a limited time of presentation, then we would like to show you the result of analysis or our investigation and the review existing article. So when we are talking about instructional approach, everyone, there are tend to use immersions. Immersion means student engage in critical thinking activity without being taught with the way how to be a critical. So there is no explicit instruction in the class, but they engage in the activity or they analyze the content. So teacher didn't talk, never even do not expose what is critical thinking skill, but in the end of the session there will be a critical thinking assessment. And then the second one in infusion. Infusion meaning that a teacher or a lecturer from very beginning has informed the student with the critical thinking skill to be acquired during the classroom session, and then it is explicitly stated, written in the syllabus or lesson plan. So this is what we know from the research there. So there are seven articles, and then there is a mixed approach, a combination between explicit and implicit. Implicit means using immersion, explicit means infusion. That's our result. So that's what we look at from the aspect of approaches. Then when I look at the characteristic of research in terms of length of intervention, so more research was conducted within 1 to 2 months, that's more than 7 articles, and 3 to 4 months, 7 articles. So between 2 and 4 months. Okay, we have 6 month articles. So this is what we know from the analysis, everyone. And I am also interested in looking at the environments in which critical thinking skill fostered in the classroom. So when we analyze the article, there is traditional learning in class. So mostly critical thinking skill fostered or integrated using traditional learning in class, face to face. This is more common in developing critical thinking, everyone. And this is also relevant in the previous research that most critical thinking skill enhance or develop in explicit instruction, a class of face-to-face instruction in the classroom, even it is explicit instruction. And we also find 7 articles using web-based learnings. So maybe in the future there will be more web-based learnings, and then there will be also blended learning. I forgot to notice to inform you that what I retrieve, the article that I retrieve is from 1991 to 2021, so it is more than 10 or 12 years. So this is what I did when reviewing this article. And if it wants one more aspect that I also examine or look is it's about method of intervention. Yeah? So more learning using self-learning. So self-learning means people, student learn individually and discussion at 10%, 10 article, and mentoring. Mentoring means people guide step by step during the classroom session or in line classroom session. So there will be feedback, direct feedback from the student in the classroom. That's what we call mentoring. There's only one, and there is other 3 articles, everyone. Okay, the most favorite tool of assessment to assess critical thinking from the existing article that I analyze is most people, or most lecturers, or most ELT teacher use specific test, which is called Californian Achievement Test. This is more popular. So when you are going to use critical thinking skill assessment, I recommend this kind is valid, and then people use that. All right. Okay. Okay. Of course, there is another interesting finding from the research that classroom management may help develop critical thinking in the classroom effectively. So everyone, that could be one of our recommendation to use or to develop more classroom, better classroom management, to make it better. I think that's all for my presentation because of running up the time. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sajidin. Okay, let's give a round of applause for Mr. Sajidin. Okay, as mentioned earlier, that we will have second presenter, Mr. Fakri Hamdani, MRes, PhD. But before that, I will read his short biography. Okay, Mr. Fakri Hamdani, MRes, PhD, is an international linguist specializing in Indonesian and Sundanese. He is a senior lecturer in the Department of English Education, UIN Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung, Indonesia. Fakri's research interests include typical and atypical interaction, particularly using conversational analysis and clinical interaction involving people with aphasia and their conversational partners. His research focuses on conversational analysis in Indonesian and Sundanese, action formation, next speaker selection, response tokens, turn construction, and multimodality. Okay. Without further ado, please, Mr. Fakri, the time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah sayyidina Muhammad ibn Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So today we are going to talk about something that you have known before. It's about how people connect in their life with interaction, including how people manage their turn, manage their skills, including gesture, nod, and so on. So I'll start with motivation because there's a lot of information on Indonesian from a conversation analytic perspective. And then little is known about how teachers carry out particular sequential courses of action. And then This field has delivered many valuable insights into the relationship between language interaction and cross-linguistic investigation, of course. Well, this will contribute to interactional linguistics itself, and then practical evidence for successful conversation. Also, this study extends our knowledge about the structure and the usage of language. And the next is how this study's contribution to an emerging field of pragmatic typology. So this galvanized by why people use this spoken language, why discourse is matter, why discourse matters, and also conversation analysis, and the last is anthropological linguistic studies. So we have combined both linguistic, sociology, and also anthropological theory in these matters. Okay, pragmatic typology is simple as how we compare languages all over the world or across languages to find similarities. For example, when you say something in Japanese with for example, and something like, is there any similarity with in Indonesian or in South Australian? Are you going to the party, or some British accent? We have finished this session, and something like that. Is there any similarities between the function of in Indonesian, British, and so on? So that is the main focus of pragmatic typology. So we find something more in Japanese, Danish, Turkish, Finnish, and so on and so on. Okay, the first thing is how we are brought into sociology terms. We have face-saving, ritual, and later on pragmatic uses of face-saving trait and politeness thing. And we have this reflexivity, and of course, we adopt ethnomethodology in sociology. So this is the three devices in conversation analysis. First, we analyze turn taking. Secondly, we analyze sequence organization, and we analyze repair. Turn taking, how people use the language with turns, not only language but also body movement, also gesture, also eye gaze, also maybe touch, and so on. Sequence organization, because we know about greetings, right? So when someone greets you with hi, and then we should reply with hi. Assalamualaikum, waalaikumsalam. That is sequence organization. Okay. They were adjacency pair, so that's why sequence organization. And every turn we have this sequence. And repair, when there are problems with listening, problem with everything we can't hear, then we do repair. For example, the universal repair is huh? So that is universal. So in Sundanese we have huh, Indonesian we have huh, English huh, and so on. So among across languages, huh is the most simple thing. Okay, I will skip it because okay. Turn taking system, we have two kinds of device. First is constructing turn, how we construct the turn and how we allocate the turn. For example, when I choose Mr. Sajidin to speak, and then I will direct my eye gaze, and then I will speak to Mr. Sajidin. Mr. Sajidin, how are you? Okay. In fact, when we do not have mutual gaze or eye contact, we still have it. So when for example, I'm writing something here, and then Mr. Sajidin is right. And then I say, Mr. Sajidin, how are you? You still work? Yes. Without contact or with contact. But in this theory, speaker should gauge to the recipient when they are talking. Okay, so that is the rules. So we have to see you and something on. If you want to discuss more about this turn-taking system, because it's not enough for 15 minutes, maybe it's 15 days or 15 months, because yeah, it's 2 semesters. Okay. Another thing is we also analyze head nods, gesture, bodily movement. When I want to ask Mr. Sajidin, and then I will do like this one, to Mr. How are you? Something like that. So there is bodily movement, gesture, gaze, of course. And then my last research is about touch. Okay. Indonesian love touch. Indonesian speakers love touch. So I will touch Mr. Sajidin. How are you? Then touch. Sorry. Maybe between friends. And so on. That the touch in Indonesia can't be found in other culture, including Western. So in Western, touch is very private. You can't touch everyone who pass you, for example. Hi, how are you? No. Okay, so in Indonesian, that is common. So that is why touch it could be something big. Okay, method and procedure, we usually use a video recording. We use also a software such as Elan or maybe video software, Adobe Premiere or something like that, to split the videos and something like that. Well, coding, audio, video, recording, and then transcribe, and then use Prod. Prod is used by to know about the prosody. Prosody is like intonation and something like that, kind of phonological things. This is one of Elan linguistic annotator. So we have here, we have this audio here, and then we have to transcribe things here. Begin with what is it? Begin with deuterance and then morphological things. I will give you some example. Here we go. So the first thing is extract number, title, recording code, duration of extract, name of participant, of course, and then the first line of transcript. And then I will transcribe it into translation and gloss using Leipzig glossing, free translation into English, dedicated line, number of chapter, and a description of embodiment, just like this one. So this is for one turn. Imagine if you talk with your friend for about an hour. Okay. So my research took for about 50 hours of conversation from 80 participants, both in Australia and in Indonesia. So you can imagine how I transcribe all things. Okay, I want to focus on this question-response system. Why? Because it's important in English education. It's important in how we teach language to others. Why? Because I found that Indonesian speakers love questioning. So, okay, so social action we have 3: asserting or informing with declarative, asking, questioning, interrogative, and directing or ordering with imperative. So, you as a teacher, so you can imagine from now, is it good to use questioning more than, for example, interrogative? So the question, the answer is questioning. For example, so when you enter the class, in a classroom, for example, and then, how are you today? Oh, what a lovely day, isn't it? Oh, what a nice shoes. Oh, what a nice shirt, and something like that. So it's different with you enter the class and give me your homework. Okay, stay still. So this is directive. So maybe we need English teacher who loves questioning. So everything should be questioned. Everything should be asked. Why? Because we need a response from who? From our students. The thing is, question and response. Okay. Okay. Request for information. Who is he? Request for confirmation. Other initiation of repair. Huh? What? He went where? Assessment. Like, isn't it beautiful today? Is this assessment? Suggestion. Did you want some? And so on. Okay. I will skip this. I will jump into the fact. Okay. This is from my research. So in Indonesian, polar question is the most favorite one. Why? Because people like polar question. Polar question is yes/no question. Okay. Content question is WH question, and the other one is alternative question. You pick between one or two. Do you want to go to a cafe or you want to go to a mosque, for example? So you pick between one or between two things. Okay, here I studied about ya and kan. Okay, so when people choose ya, it's strong confirmation, but it will but the strongest thing is kan. For example, Pak Sajidin sudah makan. First. Second, Pak Sajidin sudah makan ya. And the last, Pak Sajidin sudah makan kan. So, kan, ya, and unmarked polar question without ya and kan or si or dong or lah or toh or si and so on. The most strongest thing is when we use kan in Indonesian. How about in Dutch? Okay, Dutch we use toh. Isn't that right? Toh. So if you believe, toh in Indonesian is taken from Dutch. Toh. Okay. Iya toh. So simple like he, and also ya. Ja, ya. Kamu ke sana, ya. Simple like in Dutch with ja, ja. So derived from Dutch. And this is ha, he, ha. This is how we use the interjection for initiating repair in 7 languages. So, okay. Here, Indonesian like polar question, almost 708 questions with polar question. Request for information is about 62.65%. Request for information. Request for information. What, where, and so on. And here we see that this corpus, based on my research, is more broader than others, and I found this polar question maybe similar to Lao, language in Lao, and then Dutch, and something in Danish maybe. And answer, how we answer the question, Indonesian speaker always answer the question with almost 70%, I guess. And this is gaze behavior. Speaker gets at recipients almost 77%. So that's good. Okay, if you compare to Italian, okay. And the last thing is how we use this tactile question, just like what I used to Mr. Sajidin, tactile with touch and something more. Okay, what we miss most. Are we still depend on communicative language teaching? No. It's old thing. So we need a new kind of tool, a cool thing. We need a cool thing. We need a modern thing in how we teach language, including how we teach conversation. So while Wong and Hanson said that the same level of sophistication is often lacking in their understanding of interactional practices. Their lack of understanding about how to greet your students, how to deliver your material things, for example, with your communicative things. Why? Just like when you collaborate with others, a teacher is not what you think a teacher. A teacher should remind herself or himself that language teaching is not about a book, a journal, or something else, but it's about how you communicate with your students. That is simple. Okay. A small but growing number of studies have explored this, but not so much. You can explore about questioning, responding. You can explore more about embodiment and so on. Just like what my example. So it's very different between can I see your homework and give me your homework. Okay, so you can choose which one is better for your student. Okay, interactional linguistic and language teaching could have been the best couple, I guess. Polar question feature with interrogative, declarative, and so on. The distribution of question and response is galvanized by culture, depends on your culture. The use of bodily orientation, gesture, touch, and epistemic skewing. So epistemic skewing is about how your cognitive things can transfer your knowledge to your student. It's called epistemic. Question response system are different, of course. In classroom activity, start with questioning, not asking or questioning, not directing or ordering imperative. Okay, start with questioning, not with others. So I will, so I have 5 menit lagi. Oh, okay, 5 minutes left. So I will share one of my research. I hope it will be, sorry, share screen, share audio. Okay, what is it? Oh. Okay, maybe without audio, that's fine. I just want to show you something.
Makan nate, gue sih belak-belakan ngomong. Lu kira kerja organisasi nggak makan nate, lu kerja di negara nggak? Penting. Aku dari organisasi. Dari yayasan. Jasa gua aja ditahan. Dari yayasan. Jasa gua aja ditahan. Saya juga agak boros kayaknya Bang Sudi. Saya juga agak boros kayaknya. Kopi mulu Bang, baru 37. Saya juga agak boros kayaknya Bang Sudi. Saya juga agak boros kayaknya Bang Sudi.
Okay, when Ronnie asked, when Muiz asked Ronnie, okay, how old are you? And then you here could be different. In Indonesian, you could be name of someone. It could be lu. It could be ente. It could be sampean. It could be anything. But in English, you is you. We don't have anything else. Okay? When you say maybe Hafid, Hafid mau kemana? Okay, so Hafid is replaced. Hafid, the name Hafid will be replaced with you, because in English it's not normal when you say your name and you say other names in a question and so on. Okay, maybe another clip. I will give you another video. Oh, sorry, because maybe this will give you another experience in how this recruitment touch. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Where is Zoom? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Something went wrong with my files. Udah habis ya? Okay, maybe later if you want to ask something more about conversation analysis, interactional linguistic, and so on, pragmatic things about how to teach in classroom, you can ask me or you can just email me. Maybe you can ask someone here. Or I think that's enough for today. So thank you for listening, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Fakri, for your insightful presentation. Okay, let's moving to the third presenter, Dr. Andes Bomo Abdurrahman, but unfortunately he cannot attend. He cannot be right here with us now, so we will listen to a recorded video of him. Before we start, let me read his short biography. Okay, Dr. Andes Bomo Abdurrahman, MPD, is a senior lecturer in the English Education Department, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, UIN Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung. He is also the Vice Dean of Student Affairs of the faculty. Instructional planning, curriculum material development, and ELT media are the subject he taught for years. His main research interest is in the curriculum and teacher professional development. Okay.
Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. And it is such an honor for me to begin today's international seminar. So before we get started, I would like to express my appreciation to the head of English Education Department, Tarbiyah Faculty and Teacher Training, and also organizing committee who hold this national seminar. First of all, allow me to thank for the time given to me, and I would like in this time, I would like to present my paper with the title of Kurikulum Merdeka for Better Indonesia. It is a critical perspective in English language teaching context. Transformation is something natural and will always happen. It means that everything in life will definitely continue to experience transformation, including in education or particularly English language teaching in Indonesia. The learning process that has occurred, accompanied by the emergency condition of the COVID-19 pandemic, has greatly impacted transformation in education in Indonesia. Curriculum Merdeka is one of the important of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology to overcome the learning crisis after the COVID-19 pandemic that has begun to be designed and implemented in school that are ready. So, this government policy regarding the implementation of the Merdeka curriculum, which is given to the education unit as an education option in order to restore learning during 2022-2024. And the implementation of the Merdeka curriculum focuses on using technology and learning community to share best practice between teachers, students, and of course, academic. Various strategies and platforms have been developed for the involved in all and Merdeka curriculum optimally as an effort to restore learning after the COVID-19 pandemic, of course. And as we have now that when we are talking about Merdeka curriculum, is one of the efforts of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology. As I have told you, it is to overcome the learning crisis after the COVID-19 pandemic. Then, in that case, there are two different curriculums or different characteristics or different point between curriculum 2013 and Merdeka curriculum. In curriculum of 2013, that is aimed to to enable students in using the language on different contexts in different time, whereas in Merdeka curriculum or independent curriculum to enable students in using language on different contexts in different text time. And in the level of school, in curriculum of 2013, from year 7 to year 12, as for Merdeka curriculum, from year 1 to year 12. So the primary schools have not and ready to implement the curriculum can integrate the teaching of English to local content or extracurricular program. And in the learning and teaching reference in the curriculum 2013, there are what we call syllabus, main contents, basic competence, and lesson plan. And in Merdeka curriculum, there's what we call LO, learning objectives. What is it? The sequence of learning objective and lesson plan. And in benefit and challenges, in curriculum 2015, the teacher just teaches following those learning and teaching reference, and the teacher must follow text-based instruction, or we can say TTT, teacher talk times. Whereas in Merdeka curriculum, the teacher can be creative. The teacher, teaching based on the needs of the students in their language development. The teachers are required to do a need analysis to create learning objectives and determine the sequence of learning process. And then the implementation of the Merdeka curriculum is focus on technology and focus on learning community. So both of them give best practice between teachers, students, and what is an academics. The program supporting implementation of Merdeka curriculum. The first one is an active after school program, and the second one is vocational high school of quality center. So Merdeka curriculum can be shared best practice and learning experiences. So it is hoped that a support network will be formed between teachers and educational personnel to share content or to share learning content and the best practice of Merdeka curriculum. What is it? Characteristic of English subject in Merdeka curriculum. The first one is focus on learning different textile, such as written, oral, visual, and multimodal. And then the second one is the teacher can determine the textile he or she want to teach referring to LO, or learning objective. And the third one is the learning process is the learner center. Learner center, or we can say STT, student talk time. Focus on what the student do, changing the student's behavior. And the fourth one is the learning process. Focus on the development of language skills, meaning that learning skills to use the language in line with their language development, like what is listening, speaking, reading, viewing, writing, and presenting. The last one is learning outcome. I think that's all. Thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much for the presenter for a very interesting presentation. I do hope it will give a new insight for the listener. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of the plenary session today. Since we have a very limited time, we won't have a question and answer in this session. Once again, I would like to thank to all the speakers and also the participant for your enthusiasm and participation. Finally, give applause for all the speakers and all of you. Thank you. Okay, let me end this plenary session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We have a token of appreciation. The first one for Mr. Sajidin, and the second one for Mr. Fakri, and the third one for Mr. Momo. Okay, thank you very much for the great presentation. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.